This morning, the Supreme Court has delivered a monumental victory for the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the rule of law. This decision, and thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation.
Do you believe this ends the power of the lower court judges to stop your agenda? Do you see this as a full green light for your agenda going forward?
Well, you'd have to really speak to the lawyers about that, but this is really also a decision based on common sense.
Thousands in Tehran joined a funeral procession for top Iranian military commanders, nuclear scientists and some of the civilians killed during this month's air war with Israel. At least 16 scientists and 10 senior commanders were among those mourned on Saturday, according to state media. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was absent. He has in the past led prayers over the coffins of senior commanders ahead of such ceremonies, but has not appeared publicly since the conflict began on June 13. The president and other senior figures were there, including Khamenei's son Mojtaba. State TV said the funeral, dubbed the Procession of the Martyrs of Power, was held for a total of 60 people killed in the war, including 4 women and 4 children. Among the commanders mourned were Armed Forces Chief Major General Mohammad Bagheri, Revolutionary Guards Commander General Hossein Salami, and the Guards Aerospace Force Chief General Amir Ali Hajizadeh. Iran retaliated against Israel's strikes with barrages of missiles on Israeli military sites, infrastructure and cities. The United States entered the war on June 22nd, with strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities.
Without question.
US President Donald Trump said on Friday he would consider bombing Iran again. Khamenei has said Iran would respond to any future US attack by striking US military bases in the Middle East. A senior Israeli military official said on Friday that Israel's strikes had delivered a major blow to Iran's nuclear project. Iran denies seeking nuclear weapons. On Saturday, its Revolutionary Guards said in a statement Israel and the US, quote, failed to achieve their stated objectives in the war.
Following the terror attacks by Hamas on 7 October, which I have unequivocally condemned, Israeli military operations have created a humanitarian crisis of horrific proportions, more dire today than at any point in this long and brutal crisis. Any operation that channels desperate civilians into militarized zones is inherently unsafe. It's killing people. It's time for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages, and full, safe and sustained humanitarian access. The problem of the distribution of humanitarian aid must be solved. There is no need to reinvent the wheel with dangerous schemes. We have the solution. A detailed plan grounded in the humanitarian principles of humanity, impartiality, neutrality and independence. We have the supplies, we have the experience.
Galina Nevenaya says she was the last resident to leave the town of Mariinka during shelling in September 2022. The assault gave her concussion, and she was trapped inside her basement before being dragged out by military rescuers. Almost 3 years later, she tells Reuters she is the first and only resident to have returned.
Of course, I had a lot of relatives here before the fighting started. Aunts, uncles, cousins. They all left. Each were saving their own lives as best as they could. My mother was killed in 2022, on the 15th of April.
Mariinka, in the Donetsk region, had a pre-war population of about 10,000 people. Now, Nevenaya cuts a lonely figure among destroyed houses and charred trees in the all but abandoned town. She spends her days restoring her home, which was heavily damaged by shelling. Some damage, she says, was caused by NATO-made missiles, a claim Reuters could not verify.
All the windows blew out in one go. The whole rooftop came down at once, naturally. Well, at least somehow it was possible to live. We survived. There's water in the well, but as for food, we came up with what we could.
Asked why she would want to return as the town's only inhabitant, Nevenaya replied only with a proverb. He who lives in his own home lives well, she says. In December 2023, Russian President Vladimir Putin declared Mariinka had fallen under full Russian control. Donetsk is one of 4 regions of Ukraine that Russia partly controls, and claimed as its own in 2022, in a move condemned as illegal by most countries.